Hey everybody, Grant with Geotrek. I'm standing in front of our Albatross floor plan here, and I'm going to give you the quick tour. So this is one of two floor plans that we offer here at Geotrek. Our goal is to build the best van for the money. And one way that we're able to do that is by committing to set floor plans, set add-ons, and not doing anything custom, which reduces labor hours, reduces the amount of inventory we need to stock, and then ultimately makes the price better for you. So this is the Albatross. The real use case for an Albatross is a solo traveler or a couple. So this is such a classic layout, works for all kinds of situations, and I'm just gonna walk you through some of the features in here. So starting off first here on our driver's side, we're gonna have our full feature kitchenette. This is gonna include everything you need to live out of a van, travel out of a van. Starting on the left here, we have a sink. This is a full-size farmhouse sink is what they call it. Basically just means it's a big sink. And we believe in having a big sink for dishes, for food prep. On top of that sink is a cutting board insert, which is really cool. So that'll, cover up dishes or just allow for more counter space. And then also double as a cutting board, which, in a van, anything that's double use is awesome. Speaking of double use, this sink will also pivot out the window. So you can use that as an outdoor shower of sorts. I like to hose off Sandy feet or my dog with this thing. It's awesome, great double use. Next to the sink here, we have our induction cooktop. So we've played with a ton of different stove types and landed on induction for a handful of reasons. Biggest one being safety. And in a confined space, we find that, just running everything off of electricity and not combustibles is very helpful and adds to peace of mind. The other cool thing about this is an induction stove is going to heat up the cookware that's sitting on top of it. So that does require a special pot or pan, generally pretty easy to find. But what it allows for is once you pull that cookware off, this stovetop stays cool. So you can literally be frying up eggs, pull it off, and then set your hand here, and you're not gonna scald your hand. To the right of that, we have some plugins. This is great for a coffee maker, blender, instant pot, whatever you're running. Right below our stove here, we have our fridge freezer. So we put a pretty big one in here. We really value off-grid capability. Having a larger fridge capacity means less you have to restock at the grocery store. So this is cool. It has plenty of room to house some ice cream and then probably about a week to 10 days worth of food in my experience. And it's awesome, both in the sense that it has a lot of capacity, and then two, it's gonna run completely off-grid. So this is a 12-volt fridge. And it allows for just really, really efficient cooling with the system that we put in here. You never have to worry about plugging this thing in or it running out of battery. It's very, very efficient. And matter of fact, when our vans are sitting out, the fridges are generally just left on. On both of our layouts, we're gonna run upper cabinets all the way down the side of the van. So this is obviously very nice for storage. They've got soft close. They've got these latches that lock things in really solid. One thing we found after building a lot of vans is you really, really want to limit noise back here. And this is just one of those ways that we do that. So moving over to our passenger side here, this is kind of, you're in and out, you're getting set up, your big time storage area. So we've found one thing that's very useful here is this bench setup. So essentially what this allows for is storage right by the door. So I like to put gear in here that you're using frequently. Maybe it's a lawn chair or it's outdoor cooking setup, your boots. And then this lid folds down and just doubles as a bench here. So whether you're like putting your boots on here or you're eating a meal or you're working, this is just a cool area to kind of end up. And I find that I end up just like hanging out here a lot. Underneath the bed here, we have a Lagoon table that'll pivot out. This post and table will pull off completely and it will actually move around to different parts of the van. The reason we like it under the table here is it's just out of the way. On the other side here, we have a swivel seat. So I've already swiveled this around, obviously, but speaking of double use, this is an awesome way to just add more seating to your van. very, very popular in van builds. And on the Albatross, we're always going to include the passenger side swivel. So this is cool also for just hanging out and lounging, or you can actually move that Lagoon Table over here to our extra mount and work remote or eat from right here as well. So another distinguishing factor of the Albatross layout is going to be a north-south bed. So this runs lengthwise to the van. The alternative would be an east-west bed, which we offer in our other layout, the Convoy. And there's trade-offs to both. So one of the big pros to a north-south bed is you can limit the use of bump outs on the side. So generally the width of a Sprinter van is going to be about 5'9". So if you're taller than that, obviously you need to extend the width of the van. This van in particular is funky because it actually has bump outs on a north-south bed. So this customer opted for mega bed. So if you want to do that, you're welcome to. Generally speaking, the Albatross is not going to have bump outs on it. And what that allows you to do is hop up here and have up to 6'2" of sleeping length this way. The other really cool pro to north-south is that if you're traveling with a partner, you can wake up in the middle of the night and get out of bed without climbing over somebody. You'll also notice that our bed heights, we really want to be able to sit up straight while we're here. A lot of times you end up hanging out or reading just on the bed. And if you're crunched down like this, that's a bummer. So I'm about 6 foot, and you can see I have, pretty ample headspace up here. All right, so moving around to the back of the van here, you'll notice that we keep a very open garage space. So we like this open concept, mainly because we obviously stick to our standard floor plan, and people have all different ideas for how to use this space. So you might have a dog, you might have some mountain bikes, you might have skis or a bunch of climbing gear. Everybody kind of optimizes this space to their liking. So we just go with an open floor plan and allow you to, tailor it to your needs. We separate the components of the garage by side, which makes it simple. So on your driver's side here, it's gonna be all of the water system. So you're gonna have your fill up port right here. You're gonna have a 25-gallon freshwater tank around the wheel well right here. So that's actually tucked around the wheel well and enclosed by the cabinet. So it's out of sight, out of mind, but you can monitor the fill line down there. Right next to it here, we have an outdoor shower. This is an add-on option of ours that this customer elected to get. And this is really, really cool. So this will hook up to a water heater and just allow for some high pressure spray down on a surfboard, your dog, whatever you might use it for. So on our passenger side here, we're gonna have all of our power set up. This makes it easy. It's power on the passenger side, water on the driver's side. So on the power front, on this van, we have our EcoFlow power kit. Cool thing about the power kit is we offer all types of lithium configurations. So this one has 5 kilowatt hours or 5,000 watt hours, which is kind of middle of the road as far as capacity goes. How much capacity you get depends on kind of your use case or intended use for the van. So for instance, if you're gonna be living full-time out of your van in Scottsdale in the summer, cranking AC, running Starlink for remote work, watching TV, playing video games, you're probably gonna want a bunch of power. Reach out to our team. We're happy to consult on power systems and capacity. We've played with a lot of different configurations and have a really good idea of kind of what activities require what capacity. So right here on the passenger side of the van is where we're going to have kind of our control panel on everything. So you'll notice there's a EcoFlow power kit display, and then we actually have our S-Bar heater remote up there as well. So with this, you can set the temperature or the thermostat of your van, keep things nice and climate controlled. And then with the EcoFlow panel, you can monitor all of your power systems. So you'll notice right now we are at 99% battery, and we can watch things like input. So currently it's sunny day in Colorado. We're pulling in 330 watts of solar, which is awesome. And then our current output, given the lights that are on, the fridge, I think that's about it right now, we're doing 100 watts out. So in other words, we're netting about 230 watts of charge while we're running a bunch of stuff. So that's an awesome way just to monitor time off grid. So also included on our standard build is going to be a huge solar panel. So like I mentioned earlier, we really, really value having off-grid capability. And one of the ways that we do that is by putting a really big solar panel up here. That allows us to harness the power of the sun. Today in Colorado, the sun is cranking. We're pulling in, I think like 350 or 400 watts I noticed down there. The solar panel takes up about 2/3 of the roof, 450 watts, and this is unique to a lot of other builders just in the sheer size of the panel up here. So one thing we really value is time off grid, simplicity, and not having to think about the technical specs of, you know, when am I gonna run out of power? So one of the ways we do that is huge panel. This is gonna carry most of the charging burden and charge all of your systems below without too much reliance on like a shore power physical charging port. If you're interested in this fan or one of our other offerings, you can check out more info at geotrekvans.com.